Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Alpha Omega Occasionally, and on this occasion we're talking about why is the West, or Western culture, falling apart at the seams, and Eastern culture, well primarily Thai culture, is prospering. And there's a very, very simple, I won't say simple is the wrong term to use altogether, but there are reasons for it that might not be immediately apparent. I'm here for a reason. This is government housing in Thailand. We'll take a closer look. So this is what we're talking about. This is actually government housing in Thailand. It is just subsistence, and that's the best thing to say about it. It's just subsistence living. When I say this is subsistence living, I'm in the foundations of one of those apartment blocks you just saw there, and people live in the foundations. Look at this. You got your stoves there, tables. It's actually probably a little restaurant. It looks like a little restaurant, but these are everywhere within the foundations here. And this is what I mean by subsistence living. And subsistence living in Thailand is, let's say, quite a bit different than what it would be in the West, and it's all because of social welfare. Social welfare is an absolute curse. It has destroyed it, and believe me, and just hear me out. I'm going to get away from, there's a guy playing the radio there, it might be interfering with what we're doing here, and just move out this direction. Hear me out on this, because it makes a lot of sense. This is social housing supplied by the government, but it's barely livable. And there's no real social welfare in Thailand, none to speak of. Not compared to Europe by any means or imagination, any stretch of imagination. You see, in Europe, and so I'm talking about my experience in Ireland, and I take it that I haven't been there in a long time, and a lot of things seem to have changed. But while I'm sweating like a pig here and enjoying every minute of it, I can tell you that where I'm standing now is a place where people have no money. It would be equivalent to council flats or apartments in Ireland or anywhere in Europe. And would you stand with equipment that I have here? I've got a camera, a tripod, 2 microphones, and this, that and the other. I wouldn't do this in Dublin for fear of being accosted in some way, and my equipment being taken from me. Because I heard now that Dublin is not safe anymore. There's a population of 2 million people with 10,000 people sleeping on the streets in tents. You don't get that here. Do you know why? Thais don't take refugees. They don't. There are no refugees in Thailand. The refugees that are here are held in camps waiting for a third-party country to take them. But Thailand doesn't provide for refugees at all. I'm not saying that it's right that they shouldn't. I'm just saying that they don't. And what's happening in Ireland now? What's happening all over Europe now? It's awash with refugees. The society has fallen apart. And not only that, but the social welfare eats into this as well. Social welfare provides an environment for young people. I know it provides for everybody, but young men, let's say, to idle around during the day on street corners and buy cheap beer and get up to mischief, for the want of a much stronger term. You don't get that here. There's no one standing around drinking beer here at 11 o'clock in the morning. No way, Jose. Because in Thailand, if you don't work, you don't eat. But on the other side of it, you see, the government don't interfere with people. If you want to sell chicken on the street today and you're a Thai, get yourself a little trolley and off you go and sell your chicken. No health and safety inspector is going to come chasing you, and no one's going to come looking for you to pay tax. Because the majority of people who sell, or just street vendors here in places like this, in the lesser well-known parts of Bangkok, let's say, are what would be called as the casual economy, and they provide for themselves. This entitlementness, is that right? But this entitleism, people in Europe feel entitled. I'm entitled to this, I'm entitled to that, I'm entitled to free electricity, I'm entitled to children's allowance, I'm entitled to job seekers allowance. Why are you entitled to it? I was brought into this world the same as anybody else. I with the ability to breathe. And as far as I'm concerned, my only entitlement is to breathe the air and to function as a human being. That's my entitlement. But who says I'm entitled to X, Y, and Z? I feel entitled if that's the case. And another aspect of this is that when I interviewed the Thai girls on the street, they're not entitled. Not like the European girls who get in their knickers in a twist and a bee in their bonnet because they feel entitled and they criticise my behaviour as a YouTuber and wrongly label me as some kind of individual that's sexualising women. I've been told this before by European girls. I've been told by European girls to take them out of the video because they didn't agree with the content. Not one Thai girl has ever said that to me. Why? Because Thai girls don't feel entitled. Yes, Western women are entitled, Western society is entitled, and what they're entitling themselves now is the absolute meltdown of culture in Britain, in the United States, in Ireland. I've watched, as I alluded to earlier on, I've watched videos about the homelessness in Dublin, 10,000 people sleeping in tents and stuff like this on the street. I've watched countless YouTubers, very well-known YouTubers who travel the world and gone back to the UK and done videos in places like Peterborough, Bristol, can't name all of them, but it's like the third world. The British high streets are falling apart. Shop fronts are boarded up. People are sitting around. You don't get that here. There's no shop fronts boarded up in shopping malls here. There's no layabouts walking along the street. Look where I am. There's nobody here because they're all working. Because if you don't work, there's no social welfare, you see. They're not entitled. So they entitle themselves. They do it for themselves. And that's why the West better wake up. Well, it's probably too late. East Asia is the powerhouse of the world now. Industrial, within industry and electronics and God knows what else. And Europe is fading away. The amount of guys, me included, that never, ever, ever want to go back to Europe to live because the quality of life here is that much better. When I say that much better, a lot better. Because you say, I don't qualify for social welfare here because most Thais don't qualify for any degree of social welfare anyway, but I don't. So what do? I get up and do it for myself. And that's the problem. When I lived in Ireland, I felt entitled. If I lost my job, I'd look for the dole. You'd be assessed. And you're entitled to this and you're entitled to that. Forget about it. European culture has destroyed itself, or is destroying itself, and Southeast Asian culture is on the rise. Excuse me, there's sweat running into my eyes here. Ups to daisy. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I said, I only make videos when I feel passionate about something. I love my country, I love Ireland, but I can never live there again. And I know you should never say never, but I don't think I ever will, because I'm not entitled. Do you know, I'm not entitled to vote anymore because I left Ireland. Because in Ireland, I've covered this before in another video, because once you leave Ireland, you lose your right to vote. One of the few countries in the world that does that to their citizens. But there you go. But listen, guys, if you've enjoyed the content, or if you've been stimulated to make if your thought processes have been stimulated by what I've spoken about on this video, leave a comment in the comment section. You let me know. I try to articulate it as best I could, as best I can. But maybe I've left something out. Maybe I've put something in that you don't agree with. But the message is that Western culture is on its knees, and Eastern culture has embraced the good points of Western culture, but made sure that they held on to the good points of their own. And here is a wonderful place to live. No social welfare, no entitlement, and we're all having a great time. I hope you're having a great time watching this channel. Make sure if you haven't done so already, click that like button, click the subscribe button, the share button, do all those wonderful things, and I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.
Hello there.